Okay, so Collision was last night, obviously on Thursday. Tony Khan hates me sleeping, I'll tell you that much. But obviously a lot more matches than what was on Dynamite. Let's talk about it because the show was pretty meaty and there's a good bit to talk about. The show actually opens up with the tag match between the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Pac versus Unbound Company, which at this point was Shingo Takagi and Drilla Maloney. I was calling him Drew Maloney like a fool. This match, I didn't expect to like as much as I did, but I did kind of enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I like how technical it was. I didn't expect it to be as technical, which, looking back on it is stupid because even looking at that tag match on Forbidden Door, how technical Takagi is. Takagi and Pac are very technical with each other. That's the definite big sell to this match, and it's the crowd don't get super into it because obviously technical is very hard to get engaged with unless, you're a master like Brian or Zack Sabre Jr. Not that these two aren't, but you know what I mean. It's just, they probably weren't expecting that, especially in a tag match too. I like it. I think Pac and Takagi have good chemistry. I do. I think Claudio and Drilla Maloney had a bit of decent chemistry. Obviously Claudio and Takagi too. I just think it was kind of one of those matches where, one, it suffered from being faced for me, and that's kind of unfair, but I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to watch this, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to be like, you know what I mean? But also, I just think it's one of those matches that I don't think should have opened. It was great. It was a fun match. But I just don't think it was an opener. I feel like you could have done one of the Casino Gauntlet matches as the openers, or even the Speedball and, the Bandido and the Mystico match. That, you know what I mean? Something else. I just feel like it shouldn't have been an opener. I feel like a lot of matches this year, this episode felt a bit out of place. Not like massively, it was like, oh, this is awful. No, it's just, it felt out of place. But the match itself was really solid. Obviously, it's what, you get into Takagi, Drilla Maloney, Pac and Claudio. Like, admittedly, I'm not the most familiar with Drilla Maloney, and obviously I only know, not the most about Takagi, but Pac and Claudio, two of the most reliable wrestlers in the world. Claudio, debatably, number one. So you're never going to get a bad match. It's a great match in terms of actual technical and wrestling ability. It's just one of those where it's hard to draw an audience in. Not that it's bad, it's just, again, the style of match it is. The Death Riders do get the win, as you expect. Pac does the shotgun drop kick to the giant swing, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I was happy about this. Obviously, I'm happy to see just more Forbidden Door-esque matches. Again, Takagi versus Pac, that was the main sell for me, and I thought that was great. After this, we actually get Conglomeration backstage where they're talking about post-Forbidden Door, where they're like, we don't know what, Forbidden Door was great, but, we don't know what's going to happen. Mark Briscoe with his injuries, it was all for nothing, and now we don't know when we're going to see him again. Big Tom, we don't know when we're going to see him again. And then they get asked about Lio Rush, and they look around, and Roddy goes, Lexi! It's fine. And it's like, oh, God. So Leo, I just love how they reacted with Leo. But also, then they go, don't worry, we've got our friend. And then Takeshita walks out, and he goes, Kyle Fletcher, I want you, obviously, for the international belt next week. So basically, yeah, it was just kind of to remind the Conglomeration exists. Briscoe's probably injured, and big Tomorrow Ishii, I don't know where he is, but I miss him so. Yeah, that's it really. It's not really a insightful promo, but Takeshita being there, he's all but, like, he's in the Conglomeration, but he isn't. And obviously Willow as well, because they go, because they're like, oh, where's everyone? And they go, Willow, so Willow's definitely coming back soon. But yes, fan promo, not really to say. After this, though, we get one of the matches of the night. We get Andrade versus, Andrade El Idolo La Sombra. I always have to say that now. Versus the Machine, Brian Cage. This just reminds people how damn good Brian Cage is. Brian Cage is a great wrestler and doesn't really get the credit for how good he is in ring. And again, paired with someone like Andrade, you're going to look great. The guy's on a tear, one of the best in the world. He's absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, this is, to combat the Don Callis family stuff. Don's obviously not happy with Andrade. And the match itself has got a great pace to it, a great sort of, I don't want to say feel, but, it's got this great energy to it where it's like, it's a very, I don't want to say snappy. I don't know what the exact word I want to use is, but it's got that extra oomph in it. And obviously with Andrade, that's all you need. I do feel like, I don't know if we're just going to go through the entire Don Callis family with Andrade, which I'm not against. I did expect something else to happen here, but it doesn't. I expected someone to jump Andrade, but they don't, but I'm happy about that. It shows how over Andrade is. Like, he's very over. Like, obviously he's going to be over, he's great, but, like, in the match itself, I mean, the crowd, he still does the selfie spot, you know, Andrade and the hose, and then Brian Cage starts to do it and goes, "This is what you should get a picture of with a real man," and then you're, like, saying that, it's like, bro, do you know who that is? That's the real Latino man. I don't care. I love Andrade, he's so quotable to me now. But as an actual match, it's pretty damn good. It's what you expect from an Andrade match at this point, and that's a high level. It's a high-level athletic showcase from him. Brian Cage, again, I hope this means we get more Brian Cage, because the guy's great. I mean, the guy's a powerhouse, but the speed Brian Cage is able to have. Like, you compare him to someone like a Lance Archer, and obviously Lance Archer's got the height on Brian Cage. But Lance Archer's great too, but he's a lot more static compared to Brian Cage. Brian Cage is a lot more mobile, a lot more aggressive than Lance Archer. Lance Archer delivers some absolutely great moves, not going to get me wrong, but I think Brian Cage, for me, just has that extra mobility and just has that bit more engagement. And for someone like an Andrade, a very much a luchador style wrestler, essentially just still a luchador, really, such a mix of all these styles, it works so well. And I feel like that's what... I don't know if this is the first time they've ever wrestled. If it is, I would like to see it again, because if that's the first time, Jesus. But yeah, it was a solid match. I don't know if it was my match of the night. I thought it was solid. But as an actual match, it was pretty good. Obviously, Andrade gets the win. He gets the mic after it, and he goes, "Don, you think this is over?" And then everyone's just loving. He's laughing again. He goes, "How you know?" And then that catchphrase is so over, and Don hates it. But yeah, Don's on fire today, by the way. But yeah, Andrade gets the win. I'm happy. Brian Cage gets a great show out. I'm happy. La Sombra. After this, we actually get a small vignette of Gabe Kidd, obviously teasing his return, and the big question he's been getting asked is, because on the website they've changed his faction from just the Dogs to the Dogs and Death Riders, obviously with his Death Riders affiliation, and he goes, "Well, I'm both," and it's like, okay, shock, but this will come into play later tonight, so I just thought it was worth mentioning. After this, though, we do get one of our showcase tag matches. We get Mina Shirakawa and Thunder Rosa versus Zara Zakhee and Becca. Now, I'm sure we've seen these two ladies before, but with Thunder Rosa and Mina, I actually was pleasantly surprised. I feel like I'm definitely right in my assumption that the way to go with Thunder Rosa now is definitely tag. Like, I think Thunder Rosa's a very weird wrestler for me. I feel like she's very hit and miss. I feel like a lot of people are either really big on her or really aren't. I feel like for me with Thunder Rosa, she's very charismatic, so that adds that extra oomph to her presentation, and she's over. She's really over. But I feel like as a wrestler in ring, she needs to have a bit of help, which is not a problem. You know, some wrestlers are like that. And I just think tag suits her. I just think tag suits her with her style, with her aggression. Like, to have that aggression and how she wrestles, it's hard to make that engaging in matches on her own for, you know, a while. It kind of gets old. If you have it as a tag, it's perfectly built. You can kind of reinvent and stuff like that. Mina's obviously great. You know what you're getting with Mina. Mina's one of the best around. Becca and Zara Zakhee do pretty well. They sell like hell. That was really good. But obviously Mina and Thunder Rosa get the win. I thought I like the showcase. I don't know if the thing is, I like the chemistry between Thunder Rosa and Mina here. I think that's pretty good. I just think between Thunder Rosa and Mina, I don't want Mina in a tag. I want Mina to go forwards. I think Thunder Rosa, if she was in a tag but with someone else, I'm trying to think who, it would benefit her massively. I really do. I don't know who you put her in with, but I think as good as Mina is, I just think Mina would be better off as a singles. I don't think Mina benefits from being in a tag as much as Thunder Rosa. So I feel like if we're going to do this, not a problem with continuing, but I feel like long term, I would like this to be Thunder Rosa tagging with someone else, which is not like, oh, you know, a hate thing. I just prefer that. But yeah, the tag showcase was pretty good. They've got good chemistry, but yeah, I hope it is with someone else, just for Mina's sake, frankly, because the woman deserves to be a single star. After this, we get our Women's World Champion, Thekla. We get a little promo from her. She's still wearing the Starlight Kid mask, following Forbidden Door. She's going, "Forbidden Door, bitches. Listen up, bitches," all that shit. And she's going, "Forbidden Door, I beat her. Stardom's dead. I'm now ruler of Stardom, but no one's on my level." So now, obviously, she promotes the Casino Gauntlet to face her at redemption, which are pretty good. Obviously, there is a bit of Stardom involvement there, which I really like. And she's just putting that over. She doesn't really like call out anyone specifically. I feel like there's definitely stuff there. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're gonna do with Thekla. I feel like she's kind of... The thing is with Thekla at the minute, she's so far above everyone else, where she's kind of struggling for people to wrestle. So I feel like the Stardom route was definitely the correct call. But I hope there's only a few. You know what I mean? Like the Mercedes one clearly seems set in stone. So I feel like, I just don't know. I feel like there's definitely Athena would be cool, but hey ho. But yeah, just a standard Thekla promo. Again, just finally seeing what she's up to after Forbidden Door, which is something I wanted. After this, we actually get our 8-man tag between Shane Taylor Promotions and the Bang Bang Gang with Adam Copeland. This was fun. Obviously, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think the Infantry, Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, are two of the best wrestlers, charismatic. I think as a tag team, that's some of my favourites. Push them to the fucking moon. I really mean it. And again, Carly Bravo, he is on absolute top form. He's screaming, talking loads of smack. Even Shane Taylor gets involved. Lee Moriarty's obviously the much more serious one. He has a good little bit of movement with Jay White, which was pretty good. Obviously, this is Jay White's return match, which, you know, gets me going. Was so back. And, you know, the entrance with the 5 of them, thank God. Oh, my God. You don't realise how much that gives me life. Copeland being in there is still a bit weird. I thought they'd explain that, but they don't. Because it makes it more weird when Juice and Ace are still on the sidelines. It's like, I'm not saying Juice is a better wrestler than Copeland, but he's a better wrestler than Copeland. You know what I mean? So I just don't get why they did Copeland, but just to favour the Christian stuff, but there's no Christian stuff here, so I don't know. I just feel like, for me, it was a bit of a questionable decision. Shane Taylor Promotions look great here. Shock. Really glad they're getting more time. They're so good. They're so good. Just push the Infantry specifically. I mean, I don't know how much more I've got to say it. They're absolutely excellent. Jay White gives, I think it was Jay White anyway, they give a few of them dragon screws, and he gives Shane Taylor a dragon screw. That, like, it's Shane Taylor's sell of it is genuinely like he just got shot. It was hilarious. As you expect, you know, the guns up stuff. Jay White's over as hell. I do like how the finisher was Edge giving the spear, which was pretty wild. I didn't expect that. He doesn't look awful here, but, you know, the guns still have a good little show out. Obviously, Austin being the better of the two. It's a pretty fun match, it really is. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Jay White, a big fan of the Bang Bang Gang, and obviously Shane Taylor Promotions. I really enjoyed that. I thought all the jokes, all the fun parts, like, you know, the BBC spot, Carly Bravo just talking all that shit. You know, he has that very special... where a lot of wrestlers do it, but very few make it work as much as someone like he does, where MJF's probably the best at it, where they speak and scream during the matches. You know, when Max gets thrown nails, what the fuck? Stuff like that. Carly Bravo does that, like when he's getting thrown over the ropes. He has this comical, this great time into him. He's really, really good. I just can't praise that guy enough. But as an actual match, obviously the Bang Bang Gang get the win, which is peak. Jay White looks great. It was Jay White. I feel like Jay White's return match being... it just still confuses me why it was Copeland. Again, not a problem with it. I just feel like there should be a bit more of a reason. I think Juice should have got jumped or something. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that would have made sense. But after the match, so we get, you know, they're in the ring, all of them. And you hear the Dogs music play. Obviously, the Dogs... obviously is why Jay White returns to attack David Finlay. That's what they're clearly setting up. David Finlay and Clark Connors walk out, and they're all staring at them ready. Even the full Bang Bang Gang and Copeland ready to jump, because obviously Copeland had the match with them. And then the Death Riders jumped them in terms of Pac, Danny Garcia, Yuta, and Claudio. They all jumped them. So it's like they're getting beat down, and then the Dogs join in, and, you know, there's no Gabe Kidd. I thought Gabe Kidd was going to return here. That's obviously why I feel like they've done the promo to set that connection a bit more up. But when they're doing that, so like they basically, Jay White gets hit with the shillelagh by David Finlay. David Finlay's going, "Don't you forget me," or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they're really setting that up. Jay White is going to get a body. But I do feel like, again, this was fun. I just feel like the Copeland stuff was kind of just there. I don't know. Please don't do the tag again with the Dogs and Copeland and Cajun Cope. Don't do that, because I don't want that. But as an actual match, it's pretty fun. I'm just glad to see Jay White back. Admittedly, I really am. That's not going to be lost on me for a while. But yeah, Jay White being back, that full Bang Bang Gang entrance is what got me. That's all I need for life. That's me set for the entire year. Thank you, God. After this, we get a small little promo vignette with Willow confirming, saying she's going to be back better than ever. She talks about the Owen, and she's saying she's not being the very best. She was very close they're pushing Willow for the world title. They're pushing Willow. And honestly, not against it. Not against it at all. I think Willow's deserved this for a while. They're clearly teasing she's closer rather than she's not. I wouldn't be surprised if she returns at the Gauntlet. I don't think she does, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did. But I think she's definitely someone they're really going to be pushing to the top. I don't think it'll be TBS. I think it will be World, and the woman deserves it. She's been great for years. Definitely. Just hopefully she's back. But she's going to be back before All In, I'm sure. But yeah, hopefully she's back before Redemption. That's my thing. After this, we actually get the Demand having their little showcase match, which obviously as a trio I'm really happy about. We're getting this against a guy called Sonico. I thought that was pretty funny. Chris Nastyy and Jordan Oasis. Now, the match itself, pretty solid. It's a showcase, what you expect. Totally Leone, you all get the spots in, you know, like Ricochet gets the Spirit Gun on the top rope. That was pretty cool. Bishop Khan gets a lot more to do here than usual, but Totally Leone is just charging everyone. He splits himself open. It was a pretty big bleed, actually. But, you know, they get the match, they get the win, what you expect. They're just destroying. It's the Demand. I love them. But then, after the match, Ricochet gets the mic and he starts saying, look, you know, it's been over a year with the Demand. I was like, damn, really? Has it been that long? Jesus. That's scary. That's scary. But he goes, it's been over a year since I've formed the Demand. We want to go back to, we want to try and get some more gold as a group. They're calling out the trios. Yes! Don't call out the Conglomeration, definitely, but they're clearly insinuating it. And then they all, basically go on the merry way. But you all know probably, I've been calling for the Demand to get the trios belts for months, since they basically debuted. I think Toa Leone, every time he gets in a match, he's like, look how strong he is. It's Shivani with his dumbass, bad memory, goldfish brain. But, don't worry, he wears highlighter kicks. The fuck? But, yeah, I think it's definitely something that I do like the Demand getting a bit more of a shot. Just give them the belts. Just give them the belts. It's not hard. Give them the belts. We actually got our first Women's Casino Gauntlet match for the #1 spot. This is between Athena versus Rena. Now, I did not know, so I only know a limited amount about Rena. I just knew she was highly regarded and, everyone should basically keep an eye out on her. Bro, she's 19. That's insane. That blew my mind. That's actually ridiculous. But, for me, this was my match of the night. I think this either should have... I would have had this main event, personally, but I get because it's a #1 spot, you'd want to do the #2 after. I get it. I think this should have main event. I think this was match of the night for me. I thought it was great. I really did. I think Athena and Rena, you can tell the quality from it already. I mean, just from this little small bits of match. I mean, the athleticism she shows is absolutely incredible for the age too. Obviously, Athena makes it look a lot more tight than it is. Athena sells great here for her, and she sells great for Athena. There's just something more about this match. I feel like this match... I would like to see this. I would definitely love to see this again, frankly. I think you could definitely do this for an Athena challenge. I have faith that Rena will be in the Gauntlet. I feel like that makes sense still. But I feel like, just in any sense, I just like that. I like to see Rena again in AEW. I feel like the placement, again, this didn't help. It didn't help the placement. I feel like Rena, and if this main evented, I don't know if this was a double tape, and I don't think it was. I think there was actually 2 different nights. But I feel like, for me, I would have had this main event just for the eyes on Rena and Athena. I feel like it being in the placements, it hurt the match in terms of the crowd's enjoyment. I think the match was absolutely great. I just feel like the crowd weren't into it as much as they could have been. And it's not its fault. They had some great kickouts. The crowd obviously get into that. The kickouts are really well worked. Athena does get the win. I feel like that was pretty obvious. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was definitely the match of the night for me. I thought it was the most interesting match of the night, definitely. I think for me, obviously with Athena in the Casino Gauntlet and the stuff with Maya Whale going from the Ring of Honor belt, I just think if you can somehow manage to work Rena in a bit more with Athena, I feel like that's a pay-per-view. I feel like that could be a pay-per-view match. I feel like you just give this a bit more time. Not that it was a short match. It wasn't a long match. It was just kind of in between. But I feel like it has the quality to have a bit more of a developed match, a bit more of a pay-per-view match, essentially. A Ring of Honor pay-per-view match. I've got no problem with that. I thought the match was great. I would like to see this again. I would like to see more Rena, so probably going to watch some of her. This was a great match. And for the purpose of getting Rena as a showcase, that definitely succeeded for me. I thought she was absolutely great, and I could see all the hype. 19, by the way. Absolutely fucking insane. After this, we actually get Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis backstage, looking very serious, and he's just calling out, obviously, ELP for his match later tonight, which is the main event. I like Kyle Fletcher being in the main event. I don't think that should have been the main event, though. And basically, he's calling out him, and then obviously Takeshita for the international belt next week, saying, I want to cut the dead weight, or stuff like that. So yeah, pretty standard promo from Kyle. I like the serious nature with him and Don, though. I thought that was very interesting. We normally get kind of jokey Don and, jokey Kyle, but I feel like when they're very stern, like Don looking serious is very different to Don looking like a fucking thumb, like he usually does. So yeah, I feel like that was really well done. I really enjoyed the feel. I hope they develop that a bit more. This, though, we do get our triple threat match between Bandido, Mystico, and Speedball versus the Rascals, Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, and Myron Reed. I thought this match was too short. I thought this match deserved to go longer. I thought it should have been the main event if, the Athena match was a bit earlier. I feel like there just should have been a bit more development to it. I feel like they kind of just rushed it and just went, oh yeah, we've announced it, we've got to do it. Mystico, Bandido, and obviously Speedball are all over as hell, as is the Rascals, and the athleticism there is great, but because it was so short, it didn't really give me a lot to go off and hard to form my opinion. It wasn't like a minute long, but it was like 5, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't feel long. It felt like it deserved more time, and I really do think it did. I feel like that harmed it. Kind of a shame, because I was looking forward to that. I really was. I think Luchadors versus Rascals in any sense is definitely something I like. I like that a lot, but it is what it is. I feel like as a match, it was, for what there was, it was pretty good. Obviously, Speedball, Mystico, and Bandido, they have great chemistry. Speedball can keep up with those guys, as you expect. Bandido does the 21 plex as a finisher too. I think it was Desmond Xavier, and like, it's still pretty cool, but like, the 21 plex is more impressive when you do it to someone heavier than you. Desmond Xavier's built like Bale. I think Bandido's heavier than Desmond Xavier, so there's that. But yeah, he does get the win and the pin, and that's basically that. Fine. It's a shame. I'm quite upset, but I just feel it. I would have liked more. I would have liked to see this as a proper match. I feel like it kind of let me down there, which is what it is. I'm kind of disappointed, but the match itself was fine. Obviously, it's a good show. I just wanted that little bit more, but yeah, I got up at 5 a.m. and Tony, you have broken my heart. What the hell? I thought I was your strongest soldier. After this, we actually get a small promo backstage with the Divine Dominion asking, where are all the tag teams? Where are all the tag teams? And it's like, the women's division's light. You can't really have tag teams if the light division. But, they're basically saying, where are they all gone? We've defeated them all. If anyone wants to step up, they can. But you're gonna have to bow down. Yeah. The Divine Dominion are fine. I do like the Divine Dominion, but the tag division isn't working for me. It just isn't. However, after this, we got a Roosh showcase match, which was not advertised. I feel like it was a standby. It was him versus Jordan Cruz, which was pretty decent. Roosh just basically gets the horns, and then he swears after the bell. He gets a mic and promo and goes, yeah, Viva la Mexico, motherfucker, or some stuff like that. Yeah, it goes off. This kind of done my head in, because I love Roosh, I do, and I'm always happy to have Roosh on screen, because he's a great wrestler. But I feel like for the Speedball, Mystico, and Bandido match versus the Rascals to go shorter, and then to have this in, felt a bit, you know what I mean? Is this just to get the horns catchphrase in? Like, I just don't know. I just didn't feel like that was for me. I just think I would rather have seen that than Roosh. I love Roosh, but I think that I would have rather seen that. But yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Nice to see Roosh, though. Glad he's not being forgotten about. Hopefully this builds up for something again, because I do like the guy. However, we get the highlight of the night. We get the Ops backstage, and obviously it's the Ops, and he call out straight away, Bandido. He goes, Bandido, where you at? You're dodging my boy Shibata. I'm like, whoa. Wait. Like, they're saying Shibata's on a 19-0 win streak in Ring of Honor. I'm like, transfer it over to AEW then. And then they're going, he wants a shot at that title. 20 is going to be for that belt. And I'm like, oh, bro, you should have seen my face. I was genuinely, like, ecstatic. We're getting Shibata versus Bandido. What the fuck? That's like me match of the year. Oh my god, bro, Tony Khan loves me. All's forgiven about the disappointment, Tony. I love you. What do you need? Do you want a cup of tea? I'll do whatever. I'll cook you food. Like, oh my god. Bro, Bandido versus Shibata. I don't know if that's happened before. I do not care. That is going to give me life. You're going to see me go insane like I haven't before. Jesus. Bro, bro, Bowens is trying to do round of applause. I'm clapping for Shibata, not you, Bowens. Fuck out of here. And then Hook and Shibata look at him. Shibata speaks Japanese in the promo, which is hard as fuck. I'm like, yeah, don't have a clue what you said, but yeah. And then basically they walk off. Oh my god, that's the best. I do not care. Hook. Get Shibata versus Bandido. Oh my god, what is life? This is similar to when Andrade faced Dorada. That was peak. This is peak. I love my life. This though, we do get our second Casino Gauntlet qualifier match for number place. This is at number 2 place. It is Maya Wilde versus Julia Hart. I've made it very clear my opinion on Julia Hart. I think Julia Hart, fine wrestler. I just don't think there's a lot of improvements, and I don't understand all the hype. I think she's very much popular because of a theme song and the aesthetic, which is fine. But I just feel like, as a wrestler, I think Sky Blue is the much better wrestler. I feel like here, Julia shown that bit more vindictiveness here, and she wasn't so plain, and I feel like that was definitely something to be credited, so fair play to Julia. But Maya Wilde just absolutely mogs her in every sense. Maya Wilde is just great. Obviously, Maya Wilde should be pushed like this. What I liked is, I will say this in a minute, I'll say it now. Maya Wilde gets the win, and as she should, and I loved the reaction to it, because the reaction wasn't like an upset win, like, oh my god, it was like we wanted Maya to win, she won, and it's like, it sounds stupid, because it was a bit muted compared to, obviously, the surprise wins. I like that. I like how that makes Maya Wilde feel solidified. I feel like that's what she should, and that's what she deserves. I feel like she's definitely shown that fight and that fire a bit more compared to, frankly, someone like a Julia Hart. I think Maya Wilde right now is in a higher position than Julia Hart is. And I think she's a better wrestler than Julia Hart. And I'm not trying to just sit here and rag on Julia, but it's true. And the match was pretty good. Obviously, I feel like Maya Wilde adds that extra oomph to it, and I feel like that's what it needs for Julia. I feel like Julia's are definitely very nimble and very not fragile, but very nimble and basically, I'm trying to think of another word for nimble, but you know what I mean. She's definitely more agile. That's it, agile compared to Maya. But Maya's it's a real good chemistry there. Honestly, I like how. I don't think it's a good chemistry between the wrestlers per se, but I think the styles make a good chemistry, if that makes sense. And you can see that fundamentally. I do like that. Obviously, Maya getting the win, I'm really happy about. Obviously, I'm a fan that it is two different, the reactions very much, instead of, oh my god, it's just, yeah, that's what we like. I like that. It makes Maya Wilde feel solidified. Obviously, this means Maya Wilde and Athena are 1 and 2 in the currently. That's big deal. Obviously, setting up the Ring of Honor belt win. This I like. I like this a lot. I think again the Athena match was much better with Rena. That was really good, but this was solid. It was one of the better ones I've seen for Julia Hart in a while. But again, I just think Maya Wilde absolutely mogs her here. But it's fine. The rain. However, next is our main event match of the evening. We have Kyle Fletcher versus ELP. This match, again, I don't think it should have been the main event, but it saved it well. I think ELP looks great here. It's a much better match for ELP compared to the Ospreay one, which I think's smart. I think Ospreays are definitely on a level, bruv, or stuff like that. I think Fletcher obviously makes it look looks a lot better with the strike, and ELP's just agility. He gives the glasses to a little girl front row. He's over his hell with the chant. And then Fletcher's laughing at him. I think that's pretty funny. I do. Don Callis is on commentary. He's on fire, like I say. Like, he's going, like, he's in a very serious mood. And he's upset because of the Andrade match. And then I think it was Excalibur goes to him, how you know, Don? And then he goes, that's not funny. And then he goes, I think it was pretty funny. It's so fucking stupid. And there's a point where, like, he keeps getting shit. So then Don Callis just walks off, and then Kyle's like, whoa, what's going on? Because he's obviously pissed at the crowd. Crowd are cheering, Don running away. And then he goes, Don, come here. And then he just gives Don a hug. And then so Don sits back down. He goes, you okay now, Don? And he goes, I'm much better after that hug, I'll tell you that. Very sweaty. It's so fucking stupid. I love it, but it's so stupid. In sense of Kyle himself in ring, obviously I'm a big fan of Kyle Fletcher. I think he's one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the world. I think he's absolutely excellent, and obviously he shows that here. El Phantasmo sells for him absolutely great, I will say that. The athleticism of El Phantasmo makes him good someone to keep up with Fletcher, it's good to see Fletcher not be so limited. Not say he's limited anyway, but you know what I mean, like some wrestlers you do have to water it down. ELP, someone who doesn't have to water it down to. Obviously Kyle Kyle Fletcher's kicks are his main offense here that are pretty good. But he does get the win, as you expect. I forget if he gets the win via a brainbuster. He normally does. I don't think he did this week. But it's fine. It's a good match. I'm happy Fletcher got a main event. I just don't think this match should have been the main event. But again, we love Kyle Fletcher. He's definitely knackered out the match. They really sell it well. The crowd are pretty hyped for it too, which is good. Now, after the match though, Don comes in the ring and he's like, I've got something important to say. And he comes in and he's just basically calling shit about Takeshita, saying, Takeshita, next week you're gonna basically be, beat up by Kyle Fletcher. You are you're a turncoat. You're my firstborn in the Don Callis family. And just basically starts chatting all that shit. Then, boom, the GOAT, Take walks out, pissed, chases off Don. Kyle's not there for. Kyle and Takeshita would have had a little face-off. They don't, unless they cut it before the show ended. I don't know. But it was pretty fun. What you expect for the actual match, but I liked it. I liked the match. I thought it was pretty decent, and frankly, I feel like Fletcher and Takeshita is going to be one of the best matches of the year next week. Frankly, I do love the pair of them, but yeah, the Fletcher and ELP match was solid though. I want to give a bit more credit to that. That was a really, really good match. So that was everything on Collision this week. It was fine. It's fine. It's a good show. I thought it definitely lacked that investment. I feel like the placements were off. Again, I think the Athena match should have main evented. I feel like the trios match should have got a bit more time. Even the Bang Bang Gang match could have main evented. I feel like when you compare it to Dynamite, they both have different issues. Where Dynamite feels very much so invested in the Ospreay stuff that it's hard for anything else to get a bit in. This feels like it's not really committing to anything. So nothing's going to get a bit more development in. That's what it feels like a bit. Like, the only thing that I'd say gets a bit of development is the Fletcher and Takeshita stuff, but that's you don't really need a lot of development for that. It's not something that you could really say, like, oh, the feud, yeah, we know. You know what I mean? It's just the Don Callis family stuff. But I think it's fine. I would have liked to see a bit more development. Again, Thekla being there is pretty good. No Swerve was a bit disappointing, I will say. But I feel like this is very much a setup episode, but the fact that it had so many matches, and compared to Dynamite especially, it was a definitely good compliment. It was definitely a way to mix it up, and that's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid show. I don't think it was the best Collision ever. I don't think it was miles better than Dynamite. I don't know which I enjoy more. I think they're definitely same level. Not that this one was poor and Dynamite was poor or anything. They're both pretty solid. And it sets up Beach Break very nicely, because Beach Break's building up to be basically a pay-per-view, and I like that a lot. But as a show, it's fine. It's good. I enjoyed it. Match of the night for me was Athena versus Rena. That was super good. I really enjoyed that. But it sets up Beach Break more, and that's what makes me feel more excited, and that means it achieved its job very well. So, that is my thoughts and obviously feelings on Collision this week. Let me know what you thought of it. How am I feeling? I'm feeling very tired, thank you very much. I want to sleep, but I've got work. Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot. We're getting Shibata versus Bandito. I cannot be rude. Tony, thank you very much. I cannot appreciate you more than I do.